What's good, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with my Tinny deck profile. So this is a deck I've been testing on the side, essentially because I got my invite, so I wanted to play some other very interesting, very cool, fun rogue options. So Tinny was one that was on my list. And before I continue on, guys, if you are enjoying this mat, you like this mat here, please use, we'll link the website in the description below. It's a fitting accessories. User code COG5 to get this beautiful mat. It is finally released and you can get your hands on it. So please do that. But I forgot my camera stand at local. Well, I took my camera stand to locals and then left it in my friend Shane's car. So I got to use this weird angle here, so I apologize. But I was really concerned with this deck because I like decks on their ability. Like the decks I'd like them not to depend on the dice roll. So if you win or lose a dice roll, it doesn't matter. If you win, you can set up a board. If you lose, you can break through a board. And I was really concerned with this deck's ability to essentially break a board. And at locals, I found out that is no problem. Like you can essentially spin up to 3 cards going second, just disrupt an entire board, like pick apart a board, which is very powerful. But I still have a lot of testing to do with this deck, and there's still more support coming. We're getting like indirect support in the Generate monster, and then we got the reveal of the new Link 4. So like there'll be some testing coming up in further builds, but like right now this is the list I'm tinkering with. It's due to change, and it's kind of the list that I'm playing is more of a control variant. It's not like all gas, it's more so like kind of gas, like one of those like small Honda Civics that are like can't really go super fast, but you think they go fast. They can kind of, if you push the gas pedal at the right time, the VTEC kicks in and then it can go faster. But anyway, we're going to jump to the list. 3 Ashuna. Ashuna is your Harp Horror of the deck. It allows you to banish itself from hand or graveyard to summon a worm monster from deck. The reason I also do note right now at the very beginning of this video, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way, all the Tinnies share the same effect. If you control a non-effect monster, you can special summon them from your hand. So in a sense, they're very like a link climbing, I'm trying to think like Marine Cess Crusadia, they just essentially link climb really easy. But they're really good. His level is also very important, it's level 7. And then other than that, the artwork on it's beautiful. Not much can be said. We got this. This is the most this deck because essentially you play with 2 hands because you play with your original hand and then the graveyard acts as your second hand. But the level is very important. He's one of the key components to like the 2 card combos that you have to break boards going second. So, and he's also, you really want to see him in your opening hand going first or have him in the graveyard. He's just overall a great addition to the deck and really what the deck needed. Moving on, we have 3 Vishuda. Now this is the one that's more popular. Vishuda here is the one that you just, banish to bounce back a card. And it's one of the main ways that we can go second and spin back one of the 3 cards that we bounce back into breaking boards going second. But he's really good. He also boss monster of the deck right now since we don't have the Link 4. But anyway, he's really good. He allows you to bounce back problematic cards, floodgates, monsters, force negations, force back rows, everything. He's just really good. You like to spin back that Roar, spin back the Crescendo, bounce back the Galatea, bounce back the Sunlight Wolf, rather than destroy it or attempt to get him back into the graveyard for them to recycle. So yeah, pretty good. Now for our recycler of the deck, we have your Recursion. You banish it to add back a banished Tinny from your banish to your hand, and it can add back itself. It just can't add back like if you banish this card, you can't add back this. You have to have another valid target to add back, but it can add back itself, and that's a good way to keep the grind game going. It's also a level 1 tuner, which gives us access to some like True or Draco Berserker. I think it was True Draco. No, it's not True Draco Berserker, but Berserker, and also gives us access to Backseal, which is one of the key like how we essentially rip apart boards going second, or like in later games how we just like rip apart boards and just push in for a lot of damage. But he's really good. If you guys don't know, this was the best one. This and Vishuda was the best one prior to the release of Ashuna and the new support. But you got to play 3 of him. He's very important for the grind game. And like if you're not playing like the combo centric variant of this deck, or like playing like the full gas variant, which I don't even know if there is a full gas variant, you need to play 3 of these to keep your grind game going so you can grind it out with your opponent. And the ability to recur resources, like recur your powerful cards like Ashuna and Vishuda to continually disrupt or get access to other Tinnies is really strong. For another 3 I play is Shatana. So Shatana here is your Monster Reborn, and it is the card of when a Tinny or a non-effect monster is destroyed by, and you special summon the monster that was destroyed and then destroy 1 card. So it's a Monster Reborn with a pop, which is really important and allows you to essentially disrupt boards and play 3 things. When they decide to destroy the Berserker of Tinny, the Link 3 vanilla, you just banish this, and it's like they got rid of a beat stick, and then you were able to essentially bring back the monster, pop a card, and you still have the beat stick, so it's really good. This is the last one I would say is a mandatory 3 of. Like, all the other ones you can play around with, but like, this is, like, these guys right here, you can't really see them at all. Great. I missed my camera stand already. These guys right here, they're mandatory 3 ofs. That I don't think you can even argue about it. Like, they are the best ones that you can play, so you have to play 3 of them. I mean, of course you don't have to, but it would be highly recommended if you want to do good with this deck, you do play 3 of these guys. And these, like I said, these are the best ones that we have access to play it at 3. So that's just in my opinion. Also, like, take a moment to enjoy the artwork, guys. The artwork's just beautiful on these cards. It's a shame they're rare. It would be cool if they were hollow. And now on to the ones that you'd like, are like, I'd say the flex space, you can just move around. I'm opting to play 3 of the fire one, which is Mapura. Mapura is the one that protects from targeting as long as you control a non-effect monster. And that's like infinite impermanence, effect veilers. But however, like, after playing, I might cut him down, and I only play 2 of Nahata, which Nahata is the battle manipulator. You banish this in effect veiler and all that stuff. Like, there's not a lot of things out there monster-wise that target. So, like, this is just to protect from certain things. Like, I guess in a rogue matchup, like, Dark Magician has Circle. So, I mean, like, in a sense, like, it can come up, but I don't think it's as prevalent as protecting the Monk if you only can make the Monk, or protecting the Berserker. But however, like, these are the 2, like, you can flex around and play with. I know some people only play 1 of each. However, I felt like this deck suffered, like essentially suffered like the Crusadias do. You can't play the deck if you don't see a Tinny, and you need to see a Tinny, so I wanted to maximize out on the most Tinnies that I could, while optimizing on opening the good Tinnies, which is, of course, Ashuna and Adhara and Vishuddha. So, like, these are the flex spaces. Like, in future testing, I might cut, or might bump Nahata up and then cut Napura down. Moving on. 1 Mermer. So, Mermer is the best worm monster and the worst worm monster in the deck. So, like, I don't play Yazi in the extra deck, and that's essentially what this is for, is to make Yazi, or its easiest way is to make Yazi. But, I don't play Yazi because Baxia and the True Draco Berserker is just easier spot removal and more easy to access because of the Ashuna and Vishuddha being level 7s and the Tuner Adhara being a level 1. So I was going to cut this, believe it or not. I was going to cut it for the new worm coming out in Mystic Fighters. But then the Link 4 got revealed, and this card is an instant Link 4. And, like, you can play it in more copies, or you have instant access with it with Vessels of the Dragon Cycle. So, like, it's always going to be live, and I might just cut it out for the time being. But right now, it's really, really underwhelming. But you can use it to make your Baxia, your Berserker, Synchro. But it was very underwhelming, and I think once we get the Link 4, it'll be more powerful, just for the simple fact you can pitch it and then bring back. It's an instant Link 4. It's a 1-card Link 4, which is just blows my mind. So hopefully we get that card soon, and we can abuse this card to its full potential. But as for me in this locals I was in, I didn't really like it. Moving on to the hand trap portion of the deck, we play 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, and 2 Ghost Ogre. So the theory I had with this deck, thankful to the field spell, was, we'll spread these out just in case you guys can't see. There we go. I hate this camera angle, but the Fall of Worm, a Waterfall of Dragon Souls was just so powerful. Essentially, like, your opponent special summons, you draw 2 cards, and if you draw into hand traps, you just have more disruptions. So essentially, you can have 0 disruptions, and then resolve Waterfall and the I like it. I think preferably it's less combo oriented. You have more interaction on your opponent's turn in case you don't win the dice roll, and you just draw into these hand traps with the field spell, which just allow you to play during your opponent's turn, have more interaction, since most of the extra deck is non-effect monsters. So anyway, that's the hand traps for the deck. I really like the list, like this ratio. I think 3-3-2 is a perfect ratio. They've never been a case where I wanted to add one and cut out one. Like, these are, like, in my opinion, the best hand traps in the format at the moment. One could argue and play Impermanence, but I didn't want to be restricted because I normally want to have a monster, like preferably a non-effect monster, out on the field, so Impermanence was just, like, dead if I drew into it, so that's why I value the Effect Veiler over the Impermanence. Moving on to the field spell. So, like, this is where the deck kind of confused me. Like, I was like, can this deck only play first? Just because flawless perfection of the tinny. It says your non-effect monsters are unaffected by monster effects, and then when your opponent special summons, draw 2 cards, which is completely busted. You just get to draw when your opponent special summons, so that's your turn, their turn. As long as they special summon, you get to draw, which is extremely powerful. And since it makes all your non-effect monsters unaffected, they have to out this before they can essentially out like the Draco Berserker or the Monk or your Lymphrenikus, which is like the best link to vanilla in the deck. But yeah, so I have to play 3 of these because you kind of have to max out on them. You want to see it when you go first, and even going second, it's such an aggressive card. You just activate it and then go on and make like start pumping out your non-effect monsters, and then they can't really do anything to the non-effect monsters. So like if you're this deck can make the Link 3 inherently without any sort of starting any sort of summoning chain. You can just make the Link 3, and then like that you have a 3000 beat stick that they can't solve, and you just whack over their like negate with the 3000 beat stick. But yeah, moving on, we have the best card in the deck. So like this card is so powerful. I know Makashi have a card like it, but this card is just it makes it makes a 3-card combo become a 2-card combo, and it makes a because it lets you add and dump, which pretty much like starts your entire engine. It's just so much resource. You can dump the Mermaid to bring back the Mermaid to add like Ashuna. You can dump Vishuddha to add Ashina. It's like the power there. The power of this card is real. It's essentially 2 tinnies in 1 card, which is really powerful, and it fuels both your hands. It is in the sense of your hand, and then the graveyard. It's just so powerful. Some people don't know this, but it's a generic Foolish Burial if you don't have a non-effect monster. But then if you have a non-effect monster, you can Foolish Burial and then add. So take that, remember that, read the card. Remember that you must have a non-effect monster in order to add. But generally, if you don't have a non-effect monster, it's just a Foolish Call by the Grave. You got to. You need to resolve the Shaman. You just need to resolve Ashina as often as possible. And yeah, not much to say. 2 Desires, because we need to see our combo pieces very badly. And you want to see them as soon as possible. And you do draw a lot in the deck, but sometimes like you need to draw into like the counter trap. You need to draw into more tinnies so like you can protect your big boss guy. But Desires is perfect. I would never play 3 Desires in any deck because of my luck to draw Desires off Desires. And even playing 2, I've drawn Desires off Desires, and it happens. For 1 Monster Reborn because it's Monster Reborn. 1 Foolish Burial. I opted not to play World Legacy Succession just because I fire guys for it, but like I felt like Succession, like Monster Reborn can take your opponent's monster, and it's just Succession actually probably would be a great addition now that I'm thinking about it. Succession would be a prime addition for this deck, so probably should fit in a World Legacy Succession. I just didn't think about it at the time, but Foolish Burial just because perfect dash bait. Moving on to like the super rejuvenation of the deck, Waterfall of Dragon Souls. I always want to call this Worm Souls, but I don't know why, because Waterfall and Worm are 2 Ws. This card is nuts. It essentially lets you add any tinny. So like, and it's not once per turn, so if you open 2 of them, you essentially get to add a tinny of your choice, and then send it and draw 2 cards, excuse me. So like, this is just extremely busted in the fact that it lets you discard any amount of tinnies from your hand or field, then draw that amount back +1. And then it lets you add any tinny that you need. So it's a slower Rhoda for the deck, but the deck already has a Rhoda in the form of Dragon Cycle. So it's essentially, the deck has 6 Rhodas. It's just powerful. I would never play this deck without it. This is actually one of the main reasons I wanted to play the deck, was the fact that I had access to this type of card. For the final 2 traps, we're playing 2 Fists of the Unraveled Tinley. It's the generic counter trap. That seems to be Konami's answer to every deck today, is give it a counter trap. Time Thieves, just throwing it out there. But it's good, but at the same time, it's very underwhelming because like your most powerful boss monsters, because if once you make the Link 4, you essentially get to make a non-effect monster via its effect. So like it makes this live, which is really good. But like this is the only trap I wanted to play variant. There is definitely flex space, but like I said, this is like the theorized, like the calculated, like the first test run of the deck, and it performed okay. So like now it's time to go back and re-go at it. But yep, so 2 of those. We'll move into the extra deck. We play 3 Jackie Chan. There's not much to say. It's the Link 1. It's the starter of all your pieces, of all your combos. It's a non-effect monster, and it can be made by a 1 non-link tinny monster. So all your tinnies make this guy, which allow you to essentially go off. 2 Shaman. So Shaman is very good. Shaman is also a very powerful card while going second. She is the only thing, she's like if your combo is very fragile, it's at this point when you use Shaman, you discard off a Shaman, and you special summon a worm type from your graveyard back, and then you're locked into worms. But its effect is really powerful for going second. When a non-effect monster attacks, when it's declared, you get to pop a card. So it's another way you can, you know, like you can push and resolve cards going second and break through boards, which is like phenomenal. You know, little things you find out after you play the deck and you realize like, wow, that's pretty cool. I might do an entire combo section for this video or for this deck and sometime this week, but anyway, very powerful. 2 Bruce Lee, the Berserker. He's just your vanilla 3K beater. He's very, like, he provides a lot of pressure, but there's not much to say about him. You end on him with the field spell and the counter trap, and you're pretty well set. But he is 3K. You make him, like I said, you can make him without Tinny going second. You just make him whack over something, and your opponent really can't do anything about him because of the field spell. So yeah. Moving on, we play 1 Jet Li, Draco Master the Tinny. He's really good. He's not what the deck needed. I'm very upset that this is like the Link 3. Like, he is another way that you can break boards going second. So essentially you make Baxia, and you make Baxia, you end up just linking into this guy also, and you can just pop more cards to break the board, and the cards are treated as non-effect monsters. They really collide with the field spell and the counter trap because they are effect monsters. But he's powerful. Like, he can't be destroyed by battle with an effect monster, and then like if you control no effect monsters, you can just pop cards up to the number of non-effect monsters you have in your graveyard. So like you can have a potentially up to like 3 or 4 cards you can just single-handedly pop with Jet Li here. So yeah, that's it for the Tinnies, guys, until we get to Link 4. The best Link 2 in the deck is Lamphreninicus. It's a non-effect Link 2 you can go into, which is really good. And sometimes your best ending board is this guy backed up with a few Tinnies and the field spell and a counter trap. The only thing that stinks is it's not a worm, so like you gotta be careful when you make it, and you gotta like, sometimes it's better to end on 2 monks, 2 Jackie Chans, and a waterfall of Dragon Souls rather than going to this guy for the extra. Like, it's just, he's good. But 1 Link Spider for the Mare. You should probably play Link Kribo. I just didn't think about it at the time. Now that I'm going through it, 1 Nightmare Unicorn and 1 Nightmare Cerberus. This guy's never come up. However, Unicorn has come up just because of the simple fact that you can make Link 3s pretty easy, and you can just spin back problematic cards. The problem I have with this card is the fact that once you make it, like, it turns off everything. You gotta hope like you can normal summon and make a Link 4 or make a Link 2. But yeah. The like boss monster of the deck right now, I've preached this card in my Crusadia. This card is so underrated and so powerful. The ability just to banish anything that activates is super strong. The ability that you can just, the deck really lacked like powerful punches during like, you know, battle, and this guy just solves it. You just whack, and then you can whack again, and then whenever Gazelle activates, Multi-Phaedra activates, you just banish them. They never even touch field to summon or send, so it's powerful. Definitely a good boss monster for the deck until we get the Link 4. Now for the MVP of the locals, Baxia. So I actually might want to play 2 Baxias, but I think I'm going to end up playing 2 Draco Berserker of the Tinny, just because he's stronger. But Baxia is what allows us to go second. This card, you can like, any 2 iterations of like Adhara and the Ashuna and Vishuddha, either way you open it, you shuffle back 3 cards, which is extreme. You can use Baxia to target herself, to destroy yourself, and to bring back Adhara, and then Lincoln card can be brought back off of Shaman. And then also, something to take note, another reason why I want to play multiples of this card is because it's not a once per turn. If you summon 2 of these things, in the same turn you shuffle back essentially 4 cards, because that's how many. So like, I've thought about upping the count to 2 Baxia just because of that. I like the ability to shuffle back 4 is super powerful. But yeah. But anyway, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I apologize. It's, like I said, it's in testing stages. I'm still working on it. I apologize for the angle. Remember to check out our sponsors, Ophidian Games and Accessories. And if you guys have any feedback, let me know. I'm always up to positive criticism. However, if you're just going to be a yonker and just be negative and be rude, I ain't got time for you. But anyway, I hope everyone out there has a good day. And this is Charles from Team COG, signing out.